Hello, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, August 8th, 2023, and I'm up here just above Highway 18, northeast of Big Bear Lake, here in the San Bernardino National Forest. I've tried to get up to a couple of peaks this week, and I've been denied at every end so far. So what I'm doing now is I'm contemplating going up here to peak 6338. I really didn't know if I was going to hit any peaks at all, because I was going to try to hit a peak closer to Sugarloaf Mountain, peak 8918, and that ended up being a bust because the route I picked ended up being fenced off as private property. This is the second time this happened to me trying to get up to that peak. It's a kind of a smaller peak east of Sugarloaf Mountain, and it's been one roadblock after another. I've tried to go up to Strawberry Peak near Lake Arrowhead, and I ran into a private property situation over there. And again, I try to be very respectful of private property. Yes, I love to consider myself a dedicated peak hiker, but I don't want to be trespassing on people's land. So, again, I'm thinking about going up there to peak 6338. I did that hike once before back in 2020, so I'm already part of the way there. I was climbing up here to get some footage for a couple spotlight videos I did earlier. So basically what I did is right there's where the road to Cactus Flats comes off from Highway 18. So what I did is I kind of worked my way around up this way on the right side of that really beautiful rock outcropping, right where that truck just passed. So I'm not actually at the beginning of my hike technically, but you know, I already wasted sunscreen on me for an attempt at another peak earlier, but I guess I'll try to work my way up to peak 6338, and then maybe on the way back, maybe I'll descend from peak 6200 right there. So these will be peaks I've done before. So we'll see how this works out today. I mean, it's not too hot yet. It's still relatively early enough to where I can do this before getting blazed by the sun. But there's a small peak over here as well. So I'm kind of starting late on my video. So better start here than not to do it at all. Alright, so our first stop, botanically, is this beautiful Utah juniper right here. We got Juniperus osteosperma, which is pretty common in this area. It's not very common here in Southern California, especially in the San Bernardino Mountains. It's not extremely common here in Southern California, at least in southwestern California where we are. So this is closely related to two other junipers that do grow in the San Bernardino National Forest, and that is the much taller, sometimes shrubby, but usually much taller Sierra juniper, Juniperus grandis, which has redder bark and stringier bark. And then there's a much more similar species called California juniper, Juniperus californica, which is a lot more similar to this, multi-trunked and upright shrub. But a lot of times the California juniper tends to be more densely packed. But if you look closely at the foliage, the Utah juniper does not have a little resin dot on the little miniature scale-like leaves. I believe California juniper does. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go work my way up to here. I climbed all the way up this way to do a spotlight video. On a yucca. So I may as well just go up this way to hit this little summit here. So unfortunately, I don't give you the route. Just give you a broad overview of the route to get to the area. But there's a nice breeze up here too. The weather's really nice right now. That's a peak I did back in January 2019. That's Silver Peak right there. The top of that Silver Peak. But that whole mountain mass is called Black Hawk Mountain. Top of which is 6,756. A good few hundred feet higher than where we are now. That right there again is peak 6338, which is a peak I've climbed back when COVID had us really crazy. So I guess what I'm going to do is work my way up here. I'm going to scramble up these rocks and get to this little peak here. Let's see. Just a little scramble up here. Nothing too bad. This isn't really much of a peak. So, it's got a little bit of a dip once you get over there. It's just kind of like a little mini summit here. It's not very high up above the road. That right there is a little higher. The top of that is between 6,200 and 6,240 feet. So I call that peak 6,200. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a route. Just going to pick a route of least resistance. I think I'm just going to go up this way. So last time I parked down there, went up over to there, point 6,200, went down to that little saddle, and then just ambled up the ridge that way. And that was a pretty easy hike. It's a short hike. I got to be getting back home today because after today, tomorrow is getting ready to go back to work day. So let's see. Go ahead and come back down. And then start, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working my way over there. And I'm probably just going to work my way up kind of the west slope of this, I guess. West slope, northwest slope. Start working my way up that. All right, so I'm going to start heading down this way, I guess. All right, so far, like I figured, coming down from that small little sub-peak definitely didn't require a lot of effort to get down to the saddle area here. Let's see. Here we go. Loose soil. That's not too bad, actually. Imagine if you angle your feet oblique to the slope angle. Sometimes that'll help. All right. So there's again peak 6,200 or point 6,200. Might hit that on the way back out. So yeah, kind of came all the way up. Well, below that small rock pile, that's when I was finishing one spotlight video and recording another spotlight video on some of our native yuccas, like this bad mamma jamma right here, yucca brevifolia, the beautiful Joshua tree. Of course, a lot of other native treasures here as well, such as the antelope brush right here, Persea tritata vertiglandulosa. And of course, the king, or the tallest plant in the area, the beautiful single-leaf pinyon pine, Pinus monophylla. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gradually work my way up. Try to look for the least resistant slope. So this is northeast. The sun rises out of the northeast in August. So I'm heading north-northeast right now. So this must be a south-southwest facing slope, maybe. Luckily I'm doing it now instead of later on. It's probably about 8 o'clock right now, I imagine. one spotlight video, I took my time recording it because it was one I wanted to do for a long time. And there was another one I wanted to do for quite a while as well. So I spent my sweet time recording them. I said I was going to try to get to that peak 8918. This is the second time I got stopped in my tracks by private property barriers. There's a barbed wire fence. So I parked at the intersection of Highway 38 and Forest Service Route 204, which is not super far from Big Bear, a few miles out. Close, I think it's closer to the community of Sugarloaf, and I was going to hike up this old roadbed that led up to a Y intersection of another road intersection. The Y intersection, one part being a switchback, and I was going to go up and try to get up that way, but it didn't work out too well. Kind of disappointed. So, kind of disappointed because it would have been my first hike at elevation this year. I've already been above 6,001, 6,002, and 6,300 feet already this year. So, this isn't really big elevation. Even though since I haven't been much at it, I still feel a little bit, but it's not that bad. Here we are. This is another plant I spotlighted earlier. Humongous clump of Mojave yucca. Yeah, you've probably seen my videos where I'm near the coast of San Diego, and I'm pointing this out at sea level, 100, 200 feet above sea level in coastal San Diego County. And here I am at over 6,100 feet in the San Bernardino Mountains, and here it is again. Ooh, and we got hollyleaf redberry, Rhamnus ilicifolia. It's got its fruits ripening on it as well. Pretty neat. This is another one you'll find sometimes near the coast and well above 6,000 feet in the mountains. So, the botany is very interesting here in Southern California. You'll see plants you'll see right along the immediate shoreline near Point Loma or Torrey Pines in San Diego, and you'll see them again above 6,000 feet in the mountains. So it's pretty interesting to see this. Okay, well, onward and upward. It's more Joshua tree, by the way. Some more hollyleaf redberry off on the side. So there's some flannel bush right there. Fremontodendron californicum. Very beautiful here. So I guess this is going to be a different way to get up to 6338. Okay, see you on the next clip. Alright, so I'm just casually making my way up, and the botany keeps getting interesting. Here is a beaver tail, Puntia basilaris, variety basilaris, and a young Utah juniper with cones on it. Yes, those little berry looking things, those are actually cones. They're seed cones, just like a cypress. They're rounded, only they're fleshier, whereas cypress cones are hard and woody. These are in the cypress family, the Cupressaceae. And these are galls, some type of insect galls. That's what these are here. Not sure what kind of insect makes those galls, but it's pretty interesting. So we're coming up on some other interesting things, like Mojave claret cut cactus. And I missed the bloom probably by a couple weeks. That's Echinocerius mohavensis, sometimes known as Echinocerius triglochidiatus. And in here we got some little baby hollyleaf redberry growing out of the side of the rock. Another younger hollyleaf redberry right here. And a beautiful Utah juniper here. Yeah, I'll probably be spending a lot of my time yapping about Utah junipers. I don't get to see these very often. It's been a couple years since I've been up to one. So I'm going to enjoy it. More of those galls. Interesting. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful Utah junipers. They tend to be a little shrubbier, but they can get to small tree size. And as uncommon as they are here, I've only seen them in this area. And I've seen one in the San Gabriel Mountains near Table Mountain. I've seen one there too. Look at this. Beautiful. I love how they get these old gray trunks. How beautiful is this Utah juniper right here? I love these. I love these too much. Well, I can never love anything too much, but I love them. Here's our final bush, Vermontodendron californicum. Trying to form seed. Looks like the seed capsule's already open. If I were here about a month and a half ago, I would have gotten to see some brilliant yellow, lemony yellow, waxy, 5-sepal flowers. Okay. All right. Well, pretty sure I'll find some more interesting stuff along the way. Till then, I'll see you up the way. All right, so gone up a little ways. Notice another Echinocerius mohavensis, Mojave hedgehog or claricup, and of course, a lot of these rock outcrops here have these rock golden bushes or cliff golden bush. This is Ericamere cuneata, and I believe the variety growing here is probably variety cuneata. I'm going to assume this is variety cuneata. Seeing a little bit of this. You'll find these growing out of cracks in the rock. That's where they prefer to grow. See right here, this one's growing from the underneath the crack in this rock. I think it's also called wedge leaf golden bush, if I remember correctly, because the leaves are kind of round and wedge. It's one of quite a few species of Ericamere we have here in Southern California. You'll probably see those a lot towards later. I'm trying to remember if they're more of a spring and early summer bloomer or a fall bloomer. Let me see. No, they're more of a late summer fall bloomer because they're starting to develop their flower buds. So this will be flowering a little bit later, probably towards late August, September, maybe early October. So they're more of a fall bloomer. There's another type of golden bush I've seen here too, and it's this one here, and this is interior golden bush or linear golden bush. Ericamere linearifolia. I've been seeing a little bit of that, but that one doesn't really grow in the rocks. It grows more where the soil's a little bit better. But yeah, wedge leaf golden bush or rock golden bush or cliff golden bush, whatever you want to call it, the cuneata loves growing out of rocks. And I've seen it quite a bit here in Southern California. See it a lot in San Gabriel Mountains. I've seen it in some of the I think I've seen it in some of the coastal mountains too. I do see it a lot in the mountains. All right, so we're starting to steepen up a little bit. The grade's starting to steepen up a bit. So probably gonna have some more class 2 terrain come up. Had a little bit of it. So that's where I first started recording. Was just below that little mound right there. That's where I started recording. I basically come up this way here, kind of roughly along this direction. So hopefully I'll be able to put it pretty well on the maps. Because when I do those little maps, those little Google Earth maps on my videos, those are approximate. Unless I'm, you know, on a trail the whole time and the trail's easily visible. Especially my cross-country routes are pretty approximate. Because there's no way I'm doing a straight line up this mountain. Because I've had to zig a few times and I had to zag a few times. Generally, I believe this is a south-southwest facing slope, I believe. Judging by the position of the sun to the east-northeast. Alright, we're getting more class 2 over here. So what I'm going to do is kind of start focusing a little bit. I'm definitely well above 0.6200 there in the center. So I don't think it's a ridiculous amount more to go. So I'll see you a little further up the way. Alright, so I got over a pretty decent class 2 section right now. Came up these rocks here. Probably could have angled around for an easier route. Probably could have come up that way through that notch, but oh well. Sometimes I need to get a little practice in. Haven't really been exactly doing a lot of hardcore scrambling lately. I mean, nothing more than some slightly tough class 2, but nothing extremely bad. A little sketchy here and there. Okay, so I'm at this little flat stretch here, more Joshua tree, more beautiful Utah juniper. So we're getting close. I think the summit's up here, if I remember correctly. Look at this beautiful juniper up here. It's very beautiful. Wow. How gorgeous is that? Caught a whiff of it too. It's got that cypress family cedary aroma that a lot of cypress family plants have. We got a nice little spot of Utah juniper over here actually. So it looks like I took a slightly more involved route to get up here. But I think we're getting closer. Pretty sure. It's not a long hike. Wow. Beautiful Utah juniper. That is gorgeous. Here's another. These things can live for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if these could live over 1,000 years. Utah junipers. This is absolutely gorgeous country over here. It's another very beautiful juniper. These are supposed to be pretty long-lived as far as I know. All right. So, looks like I'll have a little more class 2 gum coming up ahead. Wow. This is a beautiful spot right here. Ooh, a sagebrush lizard. That's a sagebrush lizard, I think, right there. Yeah. Looks like a sagebrush lizard. Sceliporus vandenbergianus, sometimes known as Sceliporus graciosus vandenbergianus. That looked like a southern sagebrush lizard. So yeah, this place probably offers some really good herping too. All right. So I'm still heading up this pretty steep slope. Right here it's not so bad. But I've done a lot of steep hiking, so I'm kind of used to it. Sometimes, I don't don't know, sometimes I find it easier steep cross country occasionally. Sometimes, I don't know why. I might be just talking out of my senses. Well, usually the cross country hikes are shorter, so I guess that might be why. All right. Which way? Well, better conserve memory card space. All right, I guess I'll start going up this way. So I need a GoPro. Going up a small class 2 section here. All right, I'll catch you up the way. All right, I think I'm approaching the summit ridge. I think there's some slightly higher terrain over there, so I think this is that false summit I saw the first time I came up here. Sure, summit's not that far away. That was the first false summit there. Yeah. I think the highest point's the second one, if I remember correctly. It's been a few years since I've been here. Because I remember when I got over here, I remember walking up this ramp here. This time, I came from over this mound here. Came from over this hump, kind of cropped out, kind of topped out around there. Just came down between those Utah junipers and just came up around this way. So I think when I go back, yeah, I'm gonna try to aim for down there, but looks like there's gonna be a lot of class 2 on the way down too. So, whoa, that was sketchy. Okay. I think this is the false summit. No, I think this is it. Yeah. Here we are. Peak 6338. But I am going to go visit that one over there too. So I'm going to consider this a 2 high point summit. So I'll take a selfie here and take a selfie over there. So let's go look at some views. So this is looking east right here. So we're going to start from the east. So over there is Granite Peaks. The highest point is called Granite Peaks East, which is about 7,520 something feet. So we're going to go start swooping around to the northeast. And I can see some of the higher mountains over in the Mojave National Preserve, way out there. Probably the New York, Providence Mountains and stuff like that. There's the Mojave Desert. I'm wondering if that's towards Rodman Mountain over there. Now, we're swinging on over towards Black Hawk Mountain, Silver Peak, which is the highest point on Black Hawk. It's 6,756. And now we're looking out towards Lucerne Valley. We're looking kind of northwest now. And then now we're looking at Highway 18 as we're looking towards the west. And that's up towards Gold Mountain over there. That's a hike I did back in March of 2019. So now we're going to start swinging around to the south. And that's in the Sugarloaf Mountain area over there. I don't think I can see the actual Sugarloaf from here. But I can see, I believe that's Onyx Peak over there. That should be Onyx Peak. And I'm swinging back towards Granite Peaks. That pointy one right there is Tip Top Mountain. You have to have a really good four-wheel drive or a really motivated hiking foot to get up there. But now we got the surrounding territory. This is around the Cactus Flats area. There's an OHV area there. The champion Joshua tree used to be in this general area, I think down there, just above 6,000 feet, about 6,080 feet. I wouldn't know exactly where the pinpoint is from here. Never been to that area. The champion Joshua tree was shot down by target practice hooligans a couple decades ago, I believe. There's supposed to be still some large ones in the area, but it's pretty sad. So we got some pretty good views up here. Like I said, I am going to go and visit that part as well. So I'm going to go head over there too. Let's get the 360 up here. We got some pretty good views. Pretty good views over here. I bet you on a clear day you could probably see towards the Sierra Nevada. Wouldn't be surprised. Actually, probably more that way. So probably if you were on top of Black Hawk Mountain, I would assume that would be a pretty good visibility for that, because you don't have any higher mountains blocking that for many miles. But yeah, I've done this one. I've done Silver Peak, aka Black Hawk Mountain. I hiked along 3N62. You access it somewhere down there, and then I broke off cross country up and over some gullies and canyons, and eventually I started following that old road track. There's an old road track down there where it eventually gave out right there, and I was going to try to start scrambling directly up. That was not happening. So I ended up backtracking to that gully right there. I ended up climbing up this gully right here, this diagonal shaped gully, this dark line right here. That was tough. That was very steep. Oh, and it felt like it lasted forever. And even though it was in late January, I was sweating, because we're at a brief episode of warm weather. So what I ended up doing is climbing up that gully up to that little shoulder there, and then I ended up going around and visiting the top, and then I went down the road on the top of the mountain and came down. I think I went down that way, and I think there's an old use trail. I think it was in this gully here, which was like there's an old cable along the ground. So I followed that down, and then I went down to a gully and did some cross-country hiking to get back to 3N62. That was a tough hike. That was a pretty insane one. It was during a very brief stretch of warm weather in January 2019, where it was hot because that's a south-facing slope. Okay, so now what I'll do is work my way around here, I guess, and then start making my way to the other side. All right, I'll catch you over there. All right, so I'm making my way through this little dip here on the ridge line, just kind of weaving my path away through the shrubs. Some more beautiful Utah juniper over here, of course. Let's go ahead and head up to this other high point area. So I think the rock where I checked in last, I think was the high point. It's been a few years since I've been over here. Much different route. This route I think was maybe a little more challenging because I came up a much steeper class 2 slope. That's where I was, right on that rock, top of that rock there. Much easier coming from the other way. That would be class 3 coming up that way. Look for a place to sit down and get a sip or two of water before I start heading back. I think I'm going to try to go back over to point 6200 again. On the way back down. So I'll kind of make a slight loop out of this. All right. Here's the other higher point right here, I believe. Let me go skirt around here and see if there's anything off on the side that I need to visit. It's more open terrain over here, actually. Starting to warm up a little bit. It's not hot by any stretch. Yeah, there's a high point over here too. So yeah, this was kind of hidden off from the other side a little bit. When I get up here, I'll feel like I've officially completed the Peak 6338 summit tour, replete with some more awesome Utah juniper. When I'm in Utah juniper territory, expect me to talk about it a lot. Why? Because I love it. Because plant. Let's put it that way. Okay. Not sure. I'm going to scramble up this. Definitely calling it a summit after this. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. The other one might be slightly taller, but this is the other high point of this mountain. So we get more views down here that would have otherwise been blocked off by this rock outcropping here. Very beautiful. There's Highway 18. Be going back up that way in a little while. And down there's point 6200, which I think I'm going to visit on the way out. It's very beautiful up here. I'm going to need to go finish up my drink. So, just do a quick little 360 pan. East, northeast, north, northwest, west, southwest, and the south. All right, get my summit shot or two, my summit selfie, and then I'm gonna go try to pick a shady rock to sit on for a few minutes and fuel up. So I'll catch you back on the way down. Well, there's the western summit rock outcrop right there. So I'm wondering, I'm gonna start peering out over this way to see if I could find a way to get down towards the saddle below Peak 6200, so I can make my ascent hopefully a little less tedious. It's actually pretty let me see if this will be pretty self-explanatory once I get over here. Let's see. Another antelope brush. Persea trinitata variety glandulosa. Okay. Let's see what happens when I get over here. See if I can go around this. So the summit rocks are over there. That was on the western summit. I believe the western summit is slightly higher. I believe it's slightly higher. Over there, that's where I came from. First, that's actually where I came from before going up there. All right, so let's see. That directly ahead of me and a bit lower than me is point 6200, which is my next objective. I'm trying to see what the terrain is like. Looks like it's gonna be pretty steep over here. Probably came up kind of similar to this the first time. Let me see. Probably just gonna have to descend class 2. Probably the best bet. Could try going along this, but might be kind of sketchy. So yeah, again, my objective is to get over there. So we'll see if I can get over there without too much difficulty. But I'll catch you on the next clip. All right, so I made it down from up there, right there at that notch between the pinyon pine and the rock. So that's where I came down from. So I made it down to mostly class 1 now, for the time being. Thought I saw a nice sized fence or spiny lizard over here. Probably off and hiding by now. I don't know if it was a fence lizard or maybe another sagebrush lizard. So what I'm going to do is get to that over there and look down to see what my route will be to descend to the saddle below point 6200. So I'm coming down a different way than I did the first time. So this is definitely a different direction than the original hike I did back in April 2020. I'm just kind of wandering through this little, I don't even know if you call this a gully or a gulch or whatever you call this. It's not even really a gully, actually. It might turn into one soon, but it's more of an open slope. One thing about this hike, it's fairly easy to avoid having a bushwhack, true bushwhacking. I've had to brush up against a few dead pinion snags, but that's nothing. That's one thing. If you choose your route well, is you'll not have a ridiculous amount of bushwhacking. There'll be plenty of class 2 scrambling, but class 2 is not that bad once you've had some experience in hiking. Class 2 can get a little sketchy because it can get pretty steep, and you kind of have to carefully watch where you step to make sure you don't dislodge a rock and stuff like that. And you have to use your hands to sometimes balance on the rocks as you're climbing or descending. But like I said, class 2 can usually you can usually pick your way through the least resistance. So what I'm going to do is make it to the lip of this little ridge line here, and then I should be able to see the saddle of peak 6200 below me. I think I'm still above peak 6200. Still quite a ways above it, I think. I'm below 6300, but ooh, Here's an oldie but goodie. Here's an old Utah juniper right here. Oh, beautiful. Old Utah juniper. That's one reason this is one of my favorite parts of the San Bernardino National Forest, because of the Utah junipers. For a Southern Californian who lives in southwestern California and hasn't been out to the Mojave National Preserve and some of those further out places where they might be a little more common. I don't know, I've never been out there, so I can't tell you. Sure, it's nice to see them when I can. Here's a really old Utah juniper. Oh boy, look at this. I'm glad I went down a different way. Oh boy, look at this. Oh wow. How beautiful is this? Oh wow. This is an oldie. There's another older one here that's just partially dead. How beautiful is this juniper? Again, this is one of my favorite areas of the San Bernardino National Forest because these are here. Oh, this is incredible. This is absolutely breathtaking over here. Very beautiful. This is gorgeous. All right. So I guess what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go over to this notch here, or this little overlook, and see what route I'm going to take. This is going to be definitely a little bit different than the way it came. So I sure as heck didn't see that one the first time I was here. I would have remembered that one. That's something you don't forget if you're a botanist. See a lot of California mule deer hoof prints around here too. So this must be a mule deer hangout spot. Ooh, another little prickly pear. Ooh, baby lizard. Can you get close enough to see it? I think it was a baby sagebrush lizard. All right, let's see what we're looking at here. Looking at another class 2. Probably should go up this way. This is actually going to start taking me away from the saddle down towards Cactus Flats. All right, so I'm going to go head up this way and see what it looks like. Ooh, a western whiptail. I don't know if you can see it very well. Oh, a little western whiptail. I won't kind of see it running into the bushes. Maybe you can kind of see. Hopefully you can see it on camera. It's kind of in the shade of the pinion snag there. Hopefully it came out on camera. Those are beautiful lizards. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Of course, I say that about any herp, which is reptile or amphibian, that I see. But yeah, so I've seen western fence lizard up here, sagebrush lizard, maybe side blotch lizard. Side blotch lizards and western fence lizards are pretty common. Western whiptails, they can be kind of frequent. And then, I don't know if granite spiny lizard would be out here too, I would think. Okay, so, which route am I going to take? All right. Once I get past this initial part here, it should be pretty much class 1 until I get near the summit rocks, which there might be some some class 2, maybe a couple of small class 3 scrambling moves to get up there. So I guess what I could do is just go class 2 down towards that juniper. Once I'm past that juniper, it looks like it opens up to mostly class 1 terrain. So I'll just start working my way down here, and I'll see you on the next clip. All right, so I'm working my way down. Here's that juniper I was gonna try to go by. So once I get a little bit past that, mellows out a little bit. It's not that bad though. It's not that bad coming down. It's, for the most part, it's pretty stable. We're down to manzanita now. Now, I think this is a subspecies of Perry manzanita. Now, we have a few subspecies of it. Arctostaphylos periana, Arctostaphylos periana atumescens, and I think there's one subspecies desertica or something like that. That might be what this one is. I got to do some research because I know there are at least 3 subspecies of Perry manzanita, and I'm pretty sure this is a Perry manzanita. It's definitely not Eastwood. I don't know if Eastwood would be found over here. I think we're a little too high for bigberry, and the leaves are definitely not very glaucous. Maybe slightly similar, but the leaves are usually larger on bigberry manzanita. So I think this is a Perry manzanita. This could be subspecies desertica. I think that's the name of it. But I have to do a little more research on the range of it. So stay tuned for look for a comment at the bottom of the screen if I'm able to discern which subspecies this is. I'm pretty sure this is a Perry manzanita. And we've got a few more of them popping up once we go up towards that rocky outcrop there. A few more manzanitas. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a Perry manzanita. I still do struggle with my manzanitas. Certain ones, though, I could just tell. Because sometimes it's based on context, you know, where you find it. If it does have a lot of other similar manzanitas, but pretty sure that's Perry manzanita. That's the only species of manzanita I think I've ever seen out this part here. If you go further down, you might run into bigberry manzanita below 6,000 feet, but that definitely does not look like bigberry manzanita to me. All right, so I'm working my way down this, and again, actually, I should probably just go leave the rocky parts here and go down this way. I see a better pathway to get over here. I think I see like an old passageway here. I think I might have gone up this way when I came up here. Maybe this was the way I came up the first time. This might have been. I think there was this old little path here. Then I'm going to go up to that, which is 6,200. I'm just a little under its elevation now, so we'll see. Here's more. Here's another manzanita right here. Well, I'm not so sure. These are pretty decent sized. Manzanita drupes. I think bigberry is a little bit bigger. Like I said, I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna look on CalFlora and see what's vouchered around here, and do some cross-referencing. So, yeah. Don't take my word for it. My verbal word. Hopefully, my written word will be able to flesh out any doubts I might have. I mean, both might be here actually. All right, I'll see you down the way. Start getting ready to start working my way up there. Looks like it's going to be mostly just kind of steep class 1 until I get to the very top. Probably just going to work my way up this way over here. Just work my way, and then probably go around the back, going around the other side of the rocks, I think, for a slightly easier scramble at the end. All right, see you over there. All right, so I'm starting up So there's a beautiful spot right here. Got some more mountain sagebrush. I think this is still mountain sagebrush. Artemisia tridentata vasiana, I think is what this one is still. But I know once we get lower in elevation, we're going to be grading into Artemisia tridentata. Might still be vasiana up here. All right. Well, there's a little bit of scrambling here. Nothing I don't think I can, or nothing I need to worry about. Sagebrush smell is very intoxicating over here. It's a nice big juniper over there. Nice big Utah juniper. I'm just gonna pick my way up. Yeah, a lot of these Joshua trees here are higher up in their elevational range. They do occasionally go above 7,000 feet, a little bit above 7,000 feet, and I've seen that here in the San Bernardino Mountains, around northwestern part of Nelson Ridge, which you can pick up off of Highway 18. The high point of Nelson Ridge is a little further off to the southwest or southeast. But you notice the higher up Joshua trees tend to be a little shorter, sometimes multi-trunked. A lot of these are what some botanists call a separate form of Yucca brevifolia. Some people consider this Herbert's Joshua tree, Yucca brevifolia forma Herbert EE. This is an absolutely insanely beautiful place. I think the Cactus Flats area is actually a pretty good place to practice your cross-country hiking. If you're not that far from the road, if you pay attention where you're going, you'll be fine. There are lots of cool places to explore around here, if you're so willing to take the time without getting too far off. Just remember where Highway 18 is in relation to where you're walking. Just keep that in mind. So I'm getting close to the summit block. I'm gonna have to probably maneuver around it, unless I want to try climbing up class 3 over there. And after this, it's all downhill. And that's where I was, up there. Peak 6338 is up there. Really cool. It's a beautiful peak. Definitely one that a person with a little bit of scrambling experience, I prefer to recommend for somebody who has some scrambling experience, as there will be some class 2 scrambling that might get a little sketchy and steep in spots. But other than that, if you're used to doing off-trail travel, this definitely would be a place to get some more of it. Okay, so I'm getting near the summit rocks here. Going up this way would definitely mean a class 3 climb. I think when I came up from the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around that. It's a nice view of the peak. Very beautiful view. got a little break from the sun. A little patch of cirrocumulus clouds drifting overhead. So then we might have some slight convective buildups. Not so much there. Those appear to be altocumulus clouds. But I do see some puffy cumulus buildups southeast of here. Did notice that. Okay, so just about here. Found a way to bypass it if you're not so much of a class 3 rock scrambler, which I'm not really myself. All right, just about up here at the peak. Easy to bypass. There we are. Peak 6,200. All right. All right. Catch my breath for a few minutes. Probably dip into another drink. And I'm probably gonna head off down this way. My car's parked somewhere just down there. A little bit out of view. So basically what I did is I went through that pinyon woodland, went up that way, up to that little summit there, then down on that saddle, near that saddle, and up, I think the southeast facing slope, up to the peak, and then I came around, went down kind of that way, kind of that way-ish, yeah. Then kind of cut my way up through this way here. All right, I'll catch up with you in a minute. I'm gonna get something to drink and get my summit selfie real quick. So I did a little class 3 scramble up to here. I apologize if the wind's pretty strong, but it feels very good, not gonna lie. So I'm right up here on the top of the apex. This boulder here. It looks more intimidating when you're looking at it from down below. Bypass it. When you come up this way, for next to these pinyon pines, and then they very slow. So I'll just have to find a probably a class 3 way to get down from this, which I think I can see some possibilities from here. That might not be too extreme. Fortunately, I ran out of memory. A 32 instead of a 64. So I'm parked down there somewhere. Down there. Right where that loop is. And I think that's the Cactus Flats OHV road that leads to the area. And so again, went up up to that little knoll right there, down there, up there, and around over here. Now I'm going to try to just work my way. Probably going to go down this way somehow. Just figure out which way I'm going to go with the rocks. But it is going to have to be a class 3, small class 3. I want to get to the actual summit. Or the small class 3. But if we're going this way, it's going to be definitely more. So I'm going to start working my way down. Start making my way back down to the car. So distance-wise, I don't have that much more to go, but it's just going to be a little touch and go, a little bit of scrambling, and watch my footing. So you get to kind of see where I park, because I started my video over there. So I'm really planning on climbing up to here. Like every other peak climb I had planned kind of fell through due to private property issues. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at there. So I think what I'll do is maybe I'll go down this way. Maybe not, it looks really sketchy. Maybe I'll just come back down the way I came. We'll see. Alright, well, I'm going to start heading down. Once I get back down to there, it should be relatively easy going. So down I start going. Well, I'm off of the summit rocks. Kind of squeezed down through that, between that boulder and the boulder next to the juniper. So had a couple short class 3 down climbs. Was able to get down without too much issue. Like I said, I'm not much of a rock climber, and not super big on class 3. Not as experienced in it, but the move I did was pretty basic. Alright, so now I'm just going to make my way to this gulch here probably. I see where it's going to get steeper and maybe crop out. So I'm going to kind of go diagonally down this side of the peak. Should be back down relatively soon. And this will probably do it for my hiking this week. Didn't get nearly as much hiking as I was hoping, but I got some in, so can't complain about that. Including one of my favorite types, the off-trail pinyon juniper hikes that I love here in the northeastern San Bernardino mountains. So I just gotta head down this way. This will complete the loop, cross-country loop of 6338 and 6200. Gotta find out what the approximate elevation of that little knoll is. Doesn't have a lot of prominence, but I did go to the top of that one as well. I enjoyed that. All right, I'll see you back down when I'm by the car, or I find something else on the way down. All right, still working my way down. It's not gonna be much longer. It's only gonna be a matter of minutes before I'm down over by where I'm parked. Should be down over here somewhere. Can't even see my car from here. But it's right by where I started my first spotlight video this morning. That was when I was doing that video on Joshua trees. But back down there pretty soon. You just get to see this part of the loop. So I thought I was going to be recording hours and hours of video this week. Well, I did a small hike at the Heaps Peak Arboretum near closer to the rim forest and sky forest areas. Not that far from Lake Arrowhead. So I did have that video, a couple spotlight videos, 2 attempt hike videos, which I might not even bother uploading because one of them was when I was going to start hiking at Peak 8918, and when I realized it wasn't going to happen, I just did a short little botany set there. So just about down at the end of this. Let's see. Remember where I parked. I think I'm over here somewhere. I think the first time I did this, I parked closer over here, closer to the intersection of the road leading to the OHV area. So let's see if I can find where I'm parked. I don't even see it. Yeah, I wasn't this far. Yeah, I can see my car now. I can see where I'm parked. So that's 3 and 03. I think that leads to Cactus Flats. And there's where I'm parked. So this is going to basically do it for my hiking video today. Peak 6338, Peak 6200 plus. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know I've done hikes up to those, but this is from a different direction, so hopefully this shows a little bit different perspective. And it won't be in parts like I used to do, like part 1 of 20, part 2 of 20. So thanks for watching my adventure, and I'll see you on my next hike.